So we got some news today that honestly I wasn't suspecting. Now, I'm not surprised, but I thought we'd hear something about this before it happened. Microsoft, according to Jason Schreier, a very reliable source in the games industry, is laying off 10,000 people today, including employees within its gaming division, including Xbox, Bethesda, and we've learned that one studio particularly hit by these layoffs has been 343 Industries, obviously the studio that makes Halo. Why is this not surprising? Well, when it comes to 343, there's sort of a mixture of bad things going on right now. Things out of their control, including the current economic downturn, especially as it's hit the gaming industry. We've seen Microsoft and 343 put a hold on hiring new people and even getting new contractors. But Halo is also arguably in the worst position it's been in since 343 was moved to the franchise. Infinite's been out for a year, and for a free-to-play multiplayer shooter is essentially dead. Nobody talks about Infinite. It gets zero hype. The player count has stabilized somewhat, but the introduction of Forge and the custom game browser certainly hasn't been the shot in the arm that many of us were hoping it would be. So I'll get to how this affects Halo in a second, but first of all, of course, I want to say how badly I feel for all of those let go. For many of them, working on Halo would have been their dream job, what they'd been working for a decade or more, and it just sucks that they lost that opportunity. And I mean, even if Halo wasn't their dream job, people need money, and like I alluded to earlier, it's probably not the easiest time to find a job, so hopefully everyone who was laid off can find something and land on their feet. But I mean, there's going to be a lot of people looking for work, and it also sucks because none of these individuals are really in any meaningful way responsible for Halo Infinite being a failed product. Patrick Wren, who according to his Twitter bio was a senior multiplayer designer on Halo Infinite, said, "The layoffs at 343 shouldn't have happened and Halo Infinite should be in a better state. The reason for both of those things is incompetent leadership up top during Halo Infinite development, causing massive stress on those working hard to make Halo the best it can be. The people I worked every day with were passionate about Halo and wanted to make something great for the fans. They helped push for a better Halo and got laid off for it. Devs still there are working hard on that dream. Look at Forge. Be kind to them during this awful time." And yeah, going back to Jason Schreier, this is something he's reported on before, just how messy the development for Halo Infinite was, with the campaign especially being essentially retooled in the 11th hour. And I think the most accurate way to describe it all would be a lack of vision from the top, as Patrick alluded to. They didn't know what the game would be. They spent way too much time working on things that didn't help the final product. There are other issues, like I think the questionable decision to have Halo work backwards on last-gen consoles, and the game really suffered for it, and now those who didn't make those decisions are paying when they face the harsh economic realities of a failed AAA game launch. Another issue that he confirms in a response that a lot of people have pointed to is the reliance on contract work and vendors. And for those who don't know, Microsoft is infamous, that would have been a funny pun in like 2008, for choosing to contract out work to individuals on short-term contracts instead of simply hiring new employees. And the benefits of this for Microsoft is that they don't have to pay these new workers full employee benefits, and also they can essentially be thrown away once their contract is done. That lack of stability, which is in some ways a benefit, however, also really hurts when it comes to game design and creating a product that is meant to live now for 10 years. And Patrick, who by the way worked on Jedi Survivor, said, "The contract stuff is a whole other can of worms that pisses me off. So many amazing people and talent that just disappeared." So who was lost? Well, we don't really know yet. It comes down to whether individuals want to share that they've been let go on Twitter or not, or other forms of social media. However, probably the big news is that Joe Staten, who many saw as being the rescuer of Halo Infinite, has been moved on from 343 back to Xbox Publishing. This seems really bad, I'm not going to lie, and it might be, especially from a campaign standpoint. My perspective, however, is that Joe was brought on to right the ship. He sort of got Halo Infinite's campaign back on track. I think with this layoff, which seems to have hit the campaign teams especially hard, that we're not getting any more, or any actually, Halo Infinite campaign DLC, and that they're going to focus on the live service aspect, which is what generates the most money. So I guess Joe probably isn't really needed anymore. So maybe his departure isn't indicating that 343 is completely going down in in flames, but it's definitely not a good look, especially given how the public sees Joe and how the public really loves Joe. So that was definitely a bummer. One thing that one of my pals, Halo VFX, pointed out is that this was hitting not just new employees, but really core parts of the company. Like, this is a serious downsizing. He tweeted, and he's worked with Halo before, there are lead animators and other animators who were in the layoffs, and as an animator myself, I don't understand the layoffs. Animation is such a malleable department, meaning they can do multiple things. Cinematics can do gameplay animations, etc. But seeing these guys with 10 plus years at 343 being laid off is crazy. And while that department was certainly excised, it seems like cuts have been across the board, which should be, I guess, expected when it comes to recessionary downsizing. Kevin Schmidt was a senior designer at 343, and this guy has a ton of experience. He was the lead designer at LucasArts for Rogue Squadron, Republic Commando. He worked at Rockstar for Bully. Like, this is insanely experienced, high-level senior talent that they're letting go. That's really, really bad. I mean, they're the expensive people, but you're losing skills and experience. Anyway, you can read more experiences from people involved with 343 on Twitter. Just search 343. And I mean, obviously, this isn't the first time that 343 Industries has went through major shakeups in terms of personnel. We've seen studio heads like Bonnie Ross leave. Just plenty of high-level talent from 343 Industries has been lost. And I mean, that's probably a normal part of shipping a game, but this is different and it just sucks. So what does it mean? Well, like I said, I don't think we'll be getting any campaign expansions for Halo Infinite, at least campaign expansions that haven't already been nearly completed. I don't know if they've got the talent for it right now, especially where they need to refocus on multiplayer. They've talked about really honing in on those 3-month seasons. It's tough. I mean, in the long run, could this be good? Possibly, if the restructuring leads to some really good change and 343 becomes more successful and makes better Halo games, then yeah, but it's hard to see that from this position. I guess that's always how it is when a big thing like a layoff happens. Anyway, again, if anyone from 343 is watching this video, whether past or current, I hope everything's all right. I hope you guys can find a way on your feet. I just think it sucks that the decisions on high always end up coming down hardest on those who are just doing their job. But that's all for now. Until next time, be safe, have a good one. May the Force be with you.